Yes, good morning, children. I hope you are all keeping well. So this chapter we started last week. Okay, a few pages also we have done. We discussed its theme also. And you can get the previous lectures from the YouTube. You know, all the lectures have been uploaded if you want. And today I am going to start off not start off, we are going to continue with the chapter which we have already been doing. So this chapter, On the Face of It, as the title conveys, the title On the Face of It means the face value of something, what one or what something appears to be. That doesn't actually happen to be true. Okay, on the face of something, the things are something, and on the otherwise, the things have a different meaning. Okay, maybe things or maybe persons. So the point is, like, all that glitters is not gold. Point is, everyone who seems to be happy is not actually happy from within. And anyone who seems to be very sad, maybe there is no reason for the person to be sad. So here we have got one boy, Derry, and Mr. Lamb, an old man. The boy, Derry, has got his half face burnt, and because of this, he lives in the world of inferiority. Okay, the boy, Derry, what's his problem? Half side of his face is burnt. Otherwise, there is no problem. And broadly speaking, if one side of the face is burnt or if somebody is ugly, that is not at all a problem. It's not a problem. Problem is because of some weakness or because of some strength, if we either develop inferiority complex or superiority complex, both are equally disastrous. Got it? So it's not that one is to be like only one should not have inferiority. At the same time, one should not even have superiority complex also. Both are killing. And the boy here, you know, he suffers from inferiority complex. Okay. And why is this inferiority complex? If we assess the reason for the boy being like this, then the biggest, mistake is of the parents, because the parents have never been able to teach Derry those values which are required for one to live a good life, happy life. The parents give Derry overprotection. They even try to control his mind by telling him that, like, don't talk to him, don't go there, because you will not like it if somebody says something to you. Okay, so boy's problem is that he lives in his own world. He doesn't talk to anyone. He doesn't become friend with anyone. You can say he's a withdrawn and defiant fellow. So this is what is written about him in the chapter also. So he is a withdrawn and a defiant person. The one who defends himself only. So he is, you can say he's obsessed with his own self. He's obsessed. What is his obsession? His obsession is his own face. What is obsession? One may have any obsession. If you cannot think anything without something, it means that thing or that person is your obsession. So one should not be obsessed with anything. One can value what one has, but becoming possessive, becoming obsessed with something is a disease. It's a mental disorder. And for its solution, one must go to a psychiatrist or a counselor. And it's not that always the professional counselors are able to do it. Even people with maturity, those who are very wise people, they can also do a counseling of somebody the way Mr. Lamb does in this chapter. So he has got half face burnt. Right? Whereas Mr. Lamb has got one leg broken. His one leg was broken. And now he has got a tin leg. Got it? If we feel like if somebody has some problem, then maybe Mr. Lamb, we can say that yes, He's got some problem because like he's not physically fit. He's physically impaired. His one leg is broken. So he cannot run. A lame person cannot even climb up a tree. But here in the story, we'll see like Mr. Lamb is living a full life. He's living a full life. Point is, he can even climb up a tree. He plucks the apples, picks the apple, make apple jelly, apple sauce and everything. So the point is like the person who may have some excuse for poor life because of his disability, but he does not. Whereas the Derry, the one who is physically fit, mentally fit, but just because of his half face burnt, because of his ugliness, he has, stopped living life. The first way to live life is that be happy. Be with people, share your problems with others. Be happy, be with others, befriend others. Okay, a good human being likes the company of human beings, but he doesn't. So the reason I've told you, he doesn't want anyone to look at his face. He doesn't want any others to comment upon his face. But Mr. Lamb, with his own, in his own way, makes Derry the one who will start living a full life. So we have already done these pages. Now I am here. This is page number 61. So Derry was saying that he heard two women talk about his face. So that made me very upset. So that might have been the reason that he doesn't face people now. Okay, that day, this is dialogues of Derry, this one. This is a dialogue of Derry. He says that he knows that his face would not change, but people comment upon his faces that he doesn't like. But Mr. Lamb, tells him that, so you believe everything you hear. The point is like, we should not believe in whatever we hear. Many a times we tell somebody like, I heard it myself. You were saying like this. And the other person tries to convince you like, no, it was not that way. Yes, I said it, but its meaning was not this. But you say, no, you only said this. I know this. So most of the problems in our life are because of what others say about us. The point is like, if we start giving importance to everybody who speaks about us, then will we be able to do anything? I guess we all will be Derrys and we'll all withdraw ourselves into one room and we would not feel like talking to anyone. So Mr. Lamb is trying to convince him that don't listen, don't believe in whatever you hear, and don't listen everybody. So Mr. Lamb, so you believe everything you hear, then it was cruel. So Derry said it was cruel. The way those women talked about my face, it was very cruel on their part. Maybe not meant as such, just something said between them. So Mr. Lamb says that maybe it was not that cruel as you are thinking it to be, because those women just talked about the things among themselves. Then why you bother what they were talking about? Derry, only I heard it. I heard. And is that the only thing you ever heard anyone say in your life? So Mr. Lamb has the answer to each dialogue of Derry. Mr. Lamb's dialogue that have you heard only about one thing? Means what about the other things which people say? People say so many good things also around us, but we would focus upon only that thing which was negative about us. And we will forget about the other 99 good things people might have been speaking, or you might have seen them. So why to bother about just something which is which you don't like? Derry, oh no, I have heard a lot of things. So now you keep your eyes shut, ears shut. So if you listen, so many people here talking about you, then you close your ears. You are peculiar. You say peculiar things. You ask questions I don't understand. So Mr. Lamb pointed out that, Derry tells Mr. Lamb that you are a very strange person and you talk in a very strange manner. Right? So here it is that the boy has started listening to somebody. So far, the boy has never been able to listen to anyone. But now when he has started listening, now it will take some time for him to understand what a person like Mr. Lamb is saying. Mr. Lamb, I like to talk, I have company. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to stop here at all. The gate is open. So Mr. Lamb makes it again clear that he likes to talk, he likes to be with people, but if he doesn't like, he can go. Daddy, yes, but so Daddy earlier who had only been saying that I'm going. Now when Mr. Lamb has told him flatly that he can go, but he is not actually ready. See, yes, but so the moment your but comes, it means that you are unwilling to do that task. I have a hive of bees behind those trees over there. Some hear bees and they say bees buzz. So those people who hear the bees, buzzing, they say like, yes, the bees are buzzing. That for them, this is also music. But when you listen to bees for a long while, they hum, and hum means sing. I hear them singing, my bees. So for the people, those who don't pay attention to what is around them, for them the bees buzz. But the people, those who like to appreciate each aspect of life, each aspect of nature, for them even the bees sing. So point is, it's how we look at life. Daddy, Daddy, but I like it here. Came here. I came in because I liked it. When I looked over the wall, if you had seen me, you would not have come in. No, no. I would have been trespassing. It would have been like trespassing. What is trespassing? When you enter somebody's personal land without any permission. Okay. Trespassing is entering somebody's area without permission. That's not why. I don't like being near people. When they stare, when I see them being afraid of me. So Daddy again is coming to the same point. He says, I don't like people when they stare or when I look at them. Mr. Lamb, you could lock yourself up in a room and never leave it. So he says, you could lock yourself up in a room and never leave it. There was Daddy is, he has problem to be with people. He doesn't want to listen to them. He doesn't want to talk to them. So Mr. Lamb gives him a very solid suggestion. He tells him like, why don't you lock yourself up in a room? Be in the room for always and no one will go to you. No one will talk to you. No, you won't have to listen to others. No one will look at your face. So lock yourself. And now he will be telling him one more story about a man who locked himself in a room thinking that outside he might die. He was afraid of being dead. He was afraid of death. And he thought like if he would be out of the house, then he might die because of some or the other reason. But when he was inside his house, then there also he died. How did he die? Let's read out this paragraph. So this story Mr. Lamb will be telling to the boy to make him understand the implications of life, to understand that how life is to be made good. Otherwise, fear will kill us each moment and each day. The biggest, enemy of a man is fear. So what was holding Daddy back? His own fear. Fear of being, criticized, fear of being insulted by somebody. So that fear made him become withdrawn and defiant fellow. And now Mr. Lamb is telling him a story. Through this story, Daddy's perspective towards life might change. Not altogether, but it will take some time. Mr. Lamb, you could lock yourself up in a room and never leave it. There was a man who did that. He was afraid, you see, of everything. Everything in this world. A bus might run him over, or a man might breathe deadly germs onto him, or a donkey might kick him to death, or lightning might strike him down, or he might love a girl and the girl would leave him, and he might slip on a banana skin and fall, and people who saw him would laugh their heads off. So he went into his room and locked the door and got into his bed and stayed there. Forever? For a while. Then what? A picture fell off the wall on his head and killed him. So when this man was afraid of being killed by anything outside, when he locked himself up in a room, then in the room he died because a picture fell off the wall onto his head and he died on the spot. So the point is like death will come when it will come. Okay, the world will go on and on, but the point is that we must not sit back. So Mr. Lamb has told him a big lesson that live your life. Don't be afraid of anything outside, right? So Mr. Lamb, you see, but you still say peculiar things. So boy says again, like you talk about very strange things, peculiar to some. What do you do all day? So now Daddy's perspective has again changed. Now again he wants to know how Mr. Lamb spends the day. What do you do whole day? Sit in the sun, read books. Ah, you thought it was an empty house, but inside it is full. Books and other things, full. So that is what the perspective towards life is or should be. So though Mr. Lamb lived all alone in that house, but even then he said like his house is full of what? Books. So when he does so many things in a day, he reads books, he sits in the sun, he listens to the bees, he picks up the crab apples, and he makes jelly out of it, he makes pie out of it, tart out of it. So there are so many things he's got to do. Mr. Lamb, I am, so then Daddy says, but there aren't any curtains at the windows. I'm not afraid, I'm not fond of curtains, shutting things out, shutting things in. I like the light and the darkness and the windows open to hear the wind. So Mr. Lamb makes it clear that he doesn't like to shut life inside or out. So there is no curtain in his windows because he likes the darkness as well as light. Daddy, yes, I like that. When it's raining, I like to hear it on the roof. So now for the first time, Daddy is talking about something which he likes. He says, yes, even I am very fond of reading. When it rains on the roof, then I like to listen to it. I like to hear that pattering sound of rain. So you are not lost, are you? Not altogether. You do hear things, you listen. So Mr. Lamb is very happy that there is a hope for Daddy. He tells like you are not totally lost. What do you mean by being lost? When you are neither able to see something, when you are not able to see something or do something or hear something. Okay, you people might come across many children, many people around you, those who are there and even then they are not there. Right now, if I am saying that a Daddy is, withdrawn and self-obsessed boy, and the very next moment, if I ask some child, like, what did I say about Daddy? And the child says, ma'am, it means a child, you are lost, it means this. The one who cannot hear, the one who cannot see the things naturally around us, the person is lost then. Okay, there is no solution for the people who are lost. So this Daddy seemed to be lost because he never bothered about anything beyond his own face. But now he says that yes, he also enjoys rain and also enjoys its pattering sound. And Mr. Lamb is happy that you're not at least totally lost. Now Mr. Daddy says, they talk about me downstairs when I am not there. What will he ever do? What things are what's going to happen to them when we have gone? However will he get on in this world looking like that with that on his face? That's what they say. So he talks about some people who talk about him like this. Who these people are? Who are these people? Parents. These are parents. So he says that I have often heard my parents talk like this, talk these things about me. So what do the parents talk about? They say like, what will he ever do? Kya karega ye? Parents are saying these things. What will he do? What will happen to him when we have gone? However, will he get on to, how will he adjust to the world? So parents talk about Daddy like this. If the parents have never been able to make their son, you can say courageous, bold, the one who should face the world, they never bothered to make their child independent. They only made their son think and talk about his face only. The parents never realized that they had got a perfectly fine child. Daddy had no problem. He was physically, mentally, intellectually, all from all aspects, he was a complete fellow. But yes, now he was had become a little mentally upset because of how his parents treated him and how the society also treated him. Got it? So overprotective attitude of the parents in this dialogue, right? Lord, boy, you've got 2 arms, 2 legs, and eyes and ears. You've got a tongue and a brain. You'll get on the way you want, like all the rest. And if you chose and set your mind to it, you could get on better than all the rest. Now, see what Mr. Lamb told him. And that was a fact. It's not that he was like trying to make him happy. It was a fact like, beta, you have, why your parents are so worried about you? You have no problem. You've got arms, legs, eyes, ears, and even you can, you've got intelligence also. And maybe you'll do better than many other children of the world. Daddy then started. He has never heard anyone telling him this thing. No one has ever told him like he was otherwise a fully capable boy. And now he says, how can I do better, Mr. Lamb? Same way as I do. Do you have any friends? Hundreds. But you live by yourself in that house. It's a big house too. Friends everywhere. People come in. Everybody knows me. The gate is always open. They come and sit here. And in front of the fire in winter, kids come for the apples and pears. And for toffee, I make toffee with honey. Anybody comes, so have you. So old man has a clear vision. He has a clear concept. Like anyone, whosoever comes to his garden is his friend. Right? And moreover, he has got so many things to do. So people come to him for whatever. The old man offers him. Daddy, but I'm not a friend. Certainly you are, so far as I am concerned. But what have you done to make me think you are not? So Mr. Lamb says that you are my friend. And moreover, you say that you are not a friend. Then how can you say this, that you are not a friend? What have you done to make me think that you are not friend? Daddy, you don't know me. You don't know where I come from or even what my name is. So is that the criteria of making somebody friend? If you know where somebody lives, if you know what that person's name is that enough to make somebody a friend? Maybe yes, but it doesn't mean that if you don't know somebody, that person is not your friend. Isn't it? Why should that signify? Do I have to write all your particulars down and put them in a filling box before you can be a friend? I suppose not. So you could tell me your name if you please, if you chose, and if not, don't tell if you don't want. Daddy, only it's Derek. Daddy, only it's Derek. But I hate that. Daddy, if I'm your friend, you don't have to be mine. I choose that. So now Daddy at least has accepted that he wants Mr. Lamb to be his friend. Okay. Certainly, I might never come here again. You might never see me again. And then I couldn't still be a friend. So Daddy says that maybe I won't come back here. Then how can I be your friend again? Why not? How could I? You pass people in the street and you might even speak to them, but you never see them again. It doesn't mean they are friends. Right? So how could I? You pass people in the street and you might even speak to them, but you never see them again. It doesn't mean they are friends. Mr. Lamb, doesn't mean they are enemies? Does it? No, they are just nothing, people, that's all. So see, there is a dialogue that they are only people. They are just people, that's all. How can people be just people? Mr. Lamb says, people are never just, nothing, never. There are some people I hate. Mr. Lamb says, that would do you more harm than any bottle of acid. Acid only burns your face only. So Mr. Lamb says that if you hate somebody, if you have nurtured hatred in your heart, that will kill you more than how the acid destroyed your face. Hatred kills you from within, Mr. Lamb. That would you do more harm? Sorry, this we've done only. So he said like acid only burnt your face, and Dari stresses up the word only. Means is that only? He got his half face burnt. Is that only half face? Then Mr. Lamb says, like a bomb only blew up my leg. There is worse things can happen. You can burn yourself away inside. So Mr. Lamb says that yes, only because the bomb only blew up my one leg. What would have happened if I had been killed by the bomb? The bomb took away only my one leg. So it was only a little bit of disaster. Same is about you. And moreover, the hatred can burn you away from inside. After I would come home, one person said he would have been better off stopping in there, in the hospital. He would be better off with others like himself. She thinks blind people only ought to be with other blind people, and idiot boys with idiot boys. Now again, we have got one more reference to to society, like how the society contributes in making some people live a disastrous life. If people cannot do anything about the problems of others, why people aggravate the problems of others? So here Dari says, like I heard somebody saying that this boy should have been kept in the hospital itself, because people are of the opinion that blind people should be sent with the blind people, and those people who are idiot, they should live with idiots. So this boy should also have been left in the hospital itself. Children, nowadays, you people might be knowing, new education policy is about the inclusive. It's one of the main aims is to go for inclusive education. Inclusive education means where no child can be discriminated on the basis of his physical impairment or something. All children, whatever kind, are eligible to take admission in any school. No one can deny them admission if somebody is physically impaired or if somebody has got some mental disorder. All children have the right to study in a normal atmosphere. Okay, so here Mr. Lamb is talking about inclusiveness. Okay, this concept you people should know. When Dari was talking about this, other people talking about blind people to be sent with blind people and all. So here actually Dari was talking about the society where the children or the people are discriminated on the basis of their physical well-being or mental well-being. Mr. Lamb. And people with no legs altogether. So Mr. Lamb completes it. He says, okay, blind people should be sent to blinds and idiot to the idiots. Then he said, then people with no legs should be sent with should be kept altogether. That's right. What kind of world would that be, Dari? At least there would be nobody to stare at you because you weren't like them. So you think you are just the same as all the other people with burnt faces. So see how Mr. Lamb is coming to the point. So Dari wanted the way what other people were saying, like person with the same disability should be kept together. Then Mr. Lamb says, like, what kind of world it will be? It will be a world where all are alike, according to other people of Dari. Dari says, like, that world will be the one where all are alike. How can all people be same? Come on, let's start with ourselves. If we have got 50 children in a class, and 50 out of 50 children are physically fit, mentally fit, no problem, then are those 50 children same? Tell me one thing. Are those 50 children same? If even the twins are not same, then how can 50 people be same, maybe with the same, with all mental level, with all physical level, okay. even then they will not be same. Then how can you say that the people, those who've got faces burnt, if you make them sit all together, then will they, how can they all be same? That is not possible. So Mr. Lamb says, so you think you are just the same as all the other people with burnt faces, just by what you look like. Everything is different and everything is same, but everything is different itself. Underline this line, children. So here the Mr. Lamb is able to strike the keynote of the story. Like everything is different, but in the end, everything is same. And even then in the end, everything is different. Okay, in 11th A, if we have got 50 students, then all those 50 students are same. No difference. All are of the same age. Okay, all of them, they want to study non-medical. So one stream they've got similar, same interest or something. But in the end, they are same, but yes, even then they are all different. Not even one child resembles the other in any aspect. Got it? So all people are different, but even then, the whole humanity is one. Right? How do you make all that out? Now Derry is surprised. Like what kind of things the old man was talking about? Now he's asking him, like, how are you able to think about these kinds of things? Because Mr. Ram says, I am able to do or speak like this because what I watch, listen, and think. So a normal person, if the normal person who is able to live his life, the one who is wise, what makes him wise? When that person is able to watch, listen, and think carefully. But what actually happens with many of the people, they are either not able to listen, or able, I mean, they don't bother to listen. For example, now when many of the children who might have been sitting attentively, there might have been some children, those who might be sitting in front of the screen with the whole, every mic system and all, even then they might not be listening. So when you are not able to listen, when you are not able to watch, when you are not able to think, you don't grow up. I would like a place like this, a garden. I would like a house with no curtains. So now Dari has added 2 things more in his favorites. One earlier, what did he talk about? What did he talk about his favorite? Rain, pattering sound of rain on the rooftop. That he liked. And now he has added 2 more things. He says, I like this garden, and moreover, I like the house with no curtains also. So what he saw with Mr. Lamb, he started liking that. The gate is always open, but this isn't mine. Everything yours, if you want it, what's mine is anybody's. So Mr. Lamb, makes him clear, like whatever is mine, that can be everyone's. So old man is nowhere obsessed. Okay. Okay, now we have done up till page number 64. The next part will continue tomorrow. And tomorrow will be your test. We have done so far a thing of beauty. Then we did the previous chapter, Should Wizard Hit Mommy? And this chapter on the face of it, up till page number 64. Is that clear? And even application for job will be the test. Tomorrow test at 4 o'clock in the evening. And yes, you can send me the test a little late also, but you have to do the test. Prepare and send. Is that clear?